And we're back with another episode of Scrum is Hard and Disruptive. Todd, how we doing?
Doing pretty great today. How about you, Ryan?
It's a good day. I woke up. Looks like we're on number 11.
hmm
Iterative incremental development is much harder than waterfall development. Everything that was hard in waterfall engineering practices now has to be done every iteration, and this is incredibly hard. That's very uplifting. Yes, let's go ahead and adopt Scrum. Woohoo!
Yeah,
He
it's
does finish
interesting.
this with it's not impossible, but has to be worked toward over time. So what do
Yeah.
you think here?
So, from an engineering practices standpoint, I think that we were all tricked early on to think that if we were to design and spend a lot of time thinking about design up front, that we would avoid a lot of issues in the future. The more we thought about it, the more we diagrammed it, the more we put pieces together, that we would solidify our architecture and reduce a lot of risk. When oftentimes the opposite is true. Actually, most of the time the opposite is true when you're developing a complex product in software development, where you don't know what you don't know. And so by making all those design decisions and architectural decisions up front, um, then you run into areas that your customers' needs, wants, desires that have changed over that time, right? And so there is, I think, to some degree, some architectural and design decisions that you need to quickly make, like what frameworks we're using, like a database, things like that. But then incrementally build it. Um, Teams weren't used to this at first. I think we've gotten a little bit better of it, but it really does create professional disciplined um, uh, like a professional discipline take to constantly be concerned about the architectural and the design decisions we're making, while keeping an eye on customer demands and changes in the marketplace, right?
It's this idea of emergence too, right?
Yeah.
In a waterfall engineering situation, I can remember distinctly. We would build out the dev environment, the QA environment, the prod environment, and despite our best efforts, they would never match up perfectly. So we were always debugging build files and web config.xml files. If you know what that is, leave a comment. And who knows, we'll give you a big shout out. Um, but the idea that popped to my mind when I read this one, Todd, was really was Parkinson's law, that the
hmm
work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion. And how many times did you see in waterfall development, the work would expand and bloat out because we had 18 months to do something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, like we have 6 months to come up with initial architectural design. So what happens is it ends up being completely gold plated.
or done in
It's
the last week.
yeah, right. Yeah, or built well beyond with the means that we knew at the time, but then we go to actually implement the things that our customers are asking us for, and the shoes don't fit in that box because that box has changed, right?
Yep.
And so we spent all that time, all that money. I think this is one of my rants you've probably heard way too many times, is how much time we're spending talking about things, and rather than how much time we're actually doing things.
Yeah.
I think Parkinson's law is probably really applicable, especially to those design and architectural phases where there's so much talking and maybe some whiteboarding and maybe some mocking and things like that, but not really time building features to see if that's exactly what you need. But that, again, as in Ken's statement here, is a shift. It requires different engineering practices than some companies are accustomed to, right? Even if it is like automated testing, really investing in deployment pipelines, those kinds of things. That there may not be technology in place for companies, so we need to invest in it.
Yeah. Well, and Ken does end this statement with a little bit of hope. It's not impossible, but it has to be worked towards over time. So this is something that you and I think you originated this idea, but almost don't do the agile transformation, fix your architecture and
Yeah.
fix your engineering practices, and get your house in order before you lay some methodology or framework or workflow definition on your organization, because bad architecture and bad technical practices will defeat, Scrum, Safe, Kanban, whatever it is you pick, every time.
Yeah.
And so this has to be worked towards over time. We have to, Todd, this is almost like a skill set that teams and organizations have to really build up, because this is really, and tell me if you think this is off, but I mean, this is really like not the norm. Like this is a new skill.
Yeah. And this is just bringing me to think that people that are watching this video, if they're interested in understanding where their teams are at right now with this process, go and look at their definition of done.
Yeah.
What does done mean? Because done and the maturity of done over time will represent how well you're doing with this.
Love it. Let us know in the comments, how are you doing with your definition of done? What do you think about this idea that iterative incremental development is much harder than waterfall development? We'd love to see your comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, do all those fun things. Todd and I are here to help educate and help inform. And so let us know how we can help in the comments below. Hit that bell so you never miss any of our upcoming episodes. Check out the socials. There's a lot going on the LinkedIn and Twitter side, or the X side. We're still figuring out Instagram. Some videos are going to pop up. It's our free Scrum 101 course and our free EBM course. Be sure to check those out, right? Dig into them. Scrum is hard and disruptive, but we've tried to put together resources that can benefit you and get you going a little bit smoother. For Todd, I'm Ryan. Go forward, do some great Scrum things. We'll see you next time.
See you.